There's a voice that pretty much all of us hear. It's not coming from anyone else, it's coming from inside. A constant narrator, just processing the world. And today, we're going to dive into the surprising science behind why talking to yourself isn't just normal, it might actually be one of the most powerful tools your mind has. So let's get into it.
And I want you to really think about that for a second. I don't just mean the silent voice in your head. I mean, do you ever speak out loud when nobody else is around? You ever find yourself kind of muttering under your breath while you're looking for something? Or maybe talking yourself through the steps of a really tough problem? My guess is you do it a lot more often than you even realize.
It's a familiar ritual, right? That little checklist you say out loud right before you walk out the door. Or maybe it happens in the grocery store, quietly saying milk, bread, eggs. It's almost this unconscious habit, like a little narration for our own lives. And for the longest time, we've just seen it as this weird little quirk, something to kind of hide if we get caught doing it.
But what if this habit isn't weird at all? What if it's actually a sign of a highly efficient, organized mind that's just doing its job? Let's take a look at what the science has to say, because the truth is way more interesting than you might think.
A lot of us get that little flash of embarrassment when we get caught talking to ourselves, don't we? There's this idea baked into our culture that it's strange, that it's a sign of something being off. So we quiet down right away, hoping nobody noticed our little solo chat. But this whole reaction is based on a huge misunderstanding of how our brains are actually wired to work. So it's time to completely reframe that thinking. Seriously. Research shows that this kind of private, structured self-talk is one of the single most effective tools our brain uses to process information, to stay focused, and to solve complex problems. It's not a bug in the system, it's a feature, and it is an incredibly powerful one. This really gets to the core of it. Think about your brain for a second. It's like this brilliant but sometimes totally chaotic office. You've got thoughts, emotions, and all this data from the outside world just flying around like loose papers in a storm. Well, talking to yourself is like the manager stepping in, grabbing all those papers, and stacking them into a neat, prioritized pile. It brings order to all that mental chaos. So, what's the official name for this mental superpower? Well, scientists call it verbal reasoning. And if you can understand what it is and how it works, you can unlock its full potential in your own life. Let's break that down a bit. Our thoughts are often just abstract, a messy jumble of feelings and ideas that aren't fully formed. Verbal reasoning is the act of translating that inner chaos into the logical, straight-line structure of language. See, when you actually speak the words out loud, you force your brain to engage its language centers. And by doing that, you're forcing yourself to take a fuzzy thought and make it solid, make it concrete. This comparison here really shows you the transformation. On the left, that's the feeling we all know, right? Just feeling overwhelmed. A project is due, you've got errands to run, you're worried about some email you have to send. It's just a messy cloud of stress. But on the right, you see the power of verbal reasoning. Just by saying, okay, first I need to finish this report. You're not just talking, you are creating a plan. You're turning a shapeless worry into a step-by-step manageable list. So how does this actually work in the real world? Let's look at how this mental superpower becomes a practical tool that you're probably already using, maybe without even realizing it. The applications are everywhere.
Assembling furniture, what a perfect example of what we call instructional self-talk. Stating your goal, I need to assemble this desk, it clarifies your purpose. Reading the instructions out loud helps lock them into your memory. But the really critical part is step 3, narrating your actions. Now I'm tightening the screws. This is like a real-time focus control. It keeps you locked into the present moment. And then, self-correction. Hearing yourself say, wait, this piece is backward, makes the mistake way more obvious and easier to fix than if it just stayed a fleeting thought in your head. And this process, it applies to so many things. Instructional self-talk is what you use when you're following a recipe. Okay, a teaspoon of paprika, then whisk.
Or when you're learning new software. First I click File, then New Project. But there's this whole other powerful category, motivational self-talk. This is what you do before a huge presentation or a tough conversation. When you tell yourself, you've got this, you prepared for this, just breathe. You're not just cheering yourself on, you're actually using language to control your emotional state, to calm your nerves, and to focus your mind so you can perform at your best.
So you see, this inner and sometimes outer voice is far from something to be embarrassed about. It is one of the most sophisticated tools your mind has. It's time to stop shushing it and start seeing it for what it really is, a direct line to a higher level of thinking. Think of it this way. You have, right now, a built-in cognitive assistant. It's a tool that can cut through all the mental fog when you have a dozen things to do and give you clarity on what to do next. It's like a director for your attention, keeping you focused on the task at hand and blocking out all the distractions. And it's a co-pilot, helping you navigate through complex problems one logical step at a time. All you have to do is use it, on purpose.
This is the ultimate takeaway. The goal is not to silence that internal narrator. The goal is to take the steering wheel. Instead of letting that voice just spiral into unproductive worries or distractions, you can consciously direct it. You can turn it toward productive narration, instructional problem solving, and motivational self-encouragement. It's all about transforming that passive chatter into an active, powerful tool. So the next time you find yourself talking through a problem or searching for your keys or getting ready for a big moment, don't shy away from it. Embrace it. Recognize it for what it is, the sign of a high-functioning mind at work. The question is no longer if you should talk to yourself, but how you will consciously use that voice to build a more focused, a more clear, and a more capable version of yourself.